Okay, thank you. So Hitesh, do you want to kick off? And we're slightly early, but hopefully, yeah.
Cool. So for those that have joined, I'm Hitesh Mistry, the founder of Happy Offer. It's a fairly new startup. We've been around for a couple of weeks only. And today I want to talk to you with my co-host Vivian Neal about what makes an irresistible offer. So I think, Vivian, before we start, do you just want to give a quick 10-second intro into who you are, what you do, I guess?
Well, I am the irresistible offer.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
No, I am a digital marketer, and I am heavily involved in all kinds of content marketing primarily, but my real interest is digital transformation. However, I've worked with Hitesh on and off the last couple of years, and we've been on quite a journey one way and another together. And we're always very interested in looking at how people can connect personally or with the people that they need to connect with. And we've spoken to an awful lot of startups and small businesses about their pain points. And as a consequence, Hitesh has developed Happy Offer. And he'll tell you a bit more about that. And I'm here as the hand inside the glove pocket. No, I'm there to ask the questions and generally, be a troublemaker. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, right across to you, Hitesh. All yours.
Yes, I suppose the first thing to point out is what does irresistible mean? And I think when I've been looking at my notes, we've got something which is too attractive and too tempting to resist. If you think about an email you received or even an offer you received that you just had to act upon it straight away. I think I want to use this Blab today just to talk about the psychology around that, or what made you jump for it. And I suppose how it could be applied to a small business, whether it's a traditional bricks and mortar business, whether it's online, and just talk about those key principles today. So I think perhaps today, Vivian, if we talk about this in the context of, say, a restaurant owner.
Okay.
Just context behind what it is. And I think, so yes, I think when I think about what makes an irresistible offer, I think about what's going to make me jump off my seat to get me through the door. What's going to make me stop everything I'm doing just to go get it.
I think it's quite complex, though, isn't it, really? And although people talk about scarcity, only 5 more of these left, or you've only got 2 hours to buy this, or there's a window of opportunity, I think it's probably much more complicated than that, isn't it?
I suppose there's no, with all the evidence out there, I think the only way to be sure is to run 2 tests, if you like. If you had the same offer on 2 separate pages, one with a countdown and one without. And if you knew, for example, that you've got an hour tacked on it and it's never going to be around again, will that influence your decision more so than actually what's been offered?
It wouldn't influence mine. No? Because I'm a bit long in the tooth, and also I feel that is quite an aggressive and well-trodden path, and so therefore I suppose personally, and we're all different, and sometimes that time bubble works really, really well for people, but I want something that really seems to hit me where I need it, when I need it. And it's about me thinking, it's like straight away, somebody says here, I create time management tools for busy creatives. And all those words resonate with me. That's all she said.
I think that's it. I think scarcity, when you talk about time-based, quantity-based, something where the reason why scarcity works is that there's something that supposedly people want. There's a limited supply, and it's only going to be around for a few hours.
Yeah.
So from a psychology point of view, having those ingredients, if you like, all together with a relevant offer. So if we take the example of a restaurant owner, let's say that a really weird example. Me and my partner went to Toby Carvery a few weeks ago. Just wanted a nice cheap meal to get out. Roast dinner, it's £7 or something. You pay for what you get.
Yeah.
And but okay, we'll have pudding. So they came around and it was fairly quiet, and they offered us pudding for 50p. For I think 4 or 5 top desserts.
Right.
And I was thinking, well, if I knew I can get a dessert in for 50p or even free, if you like, that's going to get me through the door. And They know we're regulars. We go there probably once or twice a month, depending on how we're feeling. So they know that it's something we like. But obviously, I think it was a wet Wednesday.
Right.
We wouldn't necessarily go out, but we haven't been food shopping. So I think using scarcity triggers, I think it's important to have the right mix.
Is it, for example, would you rather have an offer? Say you're sitting down on the sofa at 6 o'clock in the evening, and suddenly I get an offer to you saying, "Oh, it's a rainy Wednesday night. Bet you're bored. Why don't you come down to us and we're offering desserts at 50p only?" Or would you rather have made the decision to go, and because you're a regular customer, that they actually reward you when you arrive? Say, "Oh, we're delighted to see you. Fantastic. We haven't seen you since March the 27th. And to celebrate your return, we're offering you what have you." I mean, when do you pitch? When do you pitch to get the optimum kind of result?
I think you've got to do both. I think the reason why people would probably use an offer initially is to address the quiet time or a lull they're having in their business. So, for example, if it's rainy, or if for, say, a restaurant, for example, you may be fairly quiet just before tea time. So maybe just after lunch before tea. So anywhere from, say, 3 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
you need to pull people in. Now, for a restaurant owner, for example, that could be every day of the week, barring, say, for example, Friday afternoons, where everyone's finished work a bit early, they've come in all the weekends. You need a reason to get people to the door. So let's say Tuesday, Wednesday nights can be fairly quiet. And you all hear about the early bird specials. Every restaurant's doing them, but it's more about if you happen to be there at the right time looking at it. In terms of, to your second point, in terms of rewarding people for their loyalty, I think this is where surprising people or being remarkable comes to it. So if I'm a regular customer, I've got a local barber, so I go to the same hairdressers every month. And I think it was actually, funnily enough, he knew I was getting married. And I went in prepared to pay 30-40 quid to have a shave, haircut, whatever, and he actually gave it to me free. Wasn't aware it was free. And I come there on a regular basis, pay the same amount every time. But it's the remarkability of that. It's almost like being recognised for, or saying thank you for being a loyal customer.
And I think that's really important, because as we know, it's much cheaper, more effective to pitch to existing customers than think, "Oh, you're my customer, I don't really care about you." Do you remember when in the past banks were offering incredible rates to new customers but weren't looking after existing customers? So everybody was leaving and going to the bank that would give them the rate. Whereas if I said to my bank, "Well, do you know what? Such and such a bank are doing loans at 0.5%, and you're not. How about it? I've been a regular, customer of yours for 35 years." And they should say, "Yes, of course. We are delighted you'll stay with us." And in fact, they could even exceed my expectations potentially, because, however low that offer might be in terms of the rate for them, it's better than getting nothing at all.
I think that's it. I think sometimes when a customer is dealing with you on price, it says a lot. And I think for me, it's more about the value that I'm getting with the business.
Right, yeah.
Price it's not necessarily the deciding factor. It's a factor, but it should never be the top of the list.
Well, the thing is, if you're only competing on price, then where do you go?
Yeah.
There is nowhere to go. So it's got to be value added. So maybe my example was the wrong one, but I just wanted to say that, it's much easier to preach to converted, basically.
But it's also quality of service. I remember the first barbershop I went into, and they offered me a free beer when I was getting a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they were doing that, but it's something extra they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I went to Pret, and apparently they give their baristas X number of freebies to give to customers of their choice. And one evening I was, I think I told you about this before, but I was particularly tired and frazzled, and I got to the counter and the barista said, "What would you like?" And I said, "Oh God, I've no idea. Oh, help me." I said, "Tell you what, I'll have a hot chocolate and a muffin." And he said, he handed them to me and he said, "Now that's on me." hope that improves your day. And I was gobsmacked. I didn't know what to say. And of course, as a consequence, I posted on Twitter and on Facebook, guess what's happened to me? And that's the kind of, when you're talking about being remarkable, i.e. if we look at it, the remark is made. You really want to tell people, guess what's happened to me, you should go.
And I think if you break that down in terms of the series of events that happened, the business owner, the person working there, listened to you.
Yeah.
They listen to you, they listen to your needs. And at that moment in time, they actually provide a personalized service. At that moment in time. Now, for Pret as a big chain, it's very hard for them to, because there's probably only so much control they have to do something. I think sometimes they may be able to give 1 or 2 freebies, but as a small business owner, you've got full control in terms of what you want to charge, how you want to show up that day, what you want to give away free. And especially that's important to react to any sudden quietness, any promotions, any events, you name it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening, but I'm also answering a question here.
No, that's fine. No, great. I'm still getting used to the multitasking.
Yeah, that's right. I can do that. Women can multitask. They're not a problem, really. I think that's it. I mean, I was reading an article about somebody who was talking about running a marathon. Why would you? But anyway, somebody does that. And at 18 miles, somebody was offering orange slices. And the person who was writing said, I'd have paid millions of pounds for those orange slices. And as they were free. And I went across and I had one, and it was the tastiest thing ever. But at 22 miles, somebody was offering Dunkin' Donuts. And he said, why at 22 miles would anyone want a sugar rush at that point? So as much as they're a freebie, nobody wanted them because it was the wrong offer in the wrong context. Now, if those people had waited to the end of the race, and so when everyone was absolutely knackered and said, anyone fancy the donut, they'd have been mobbed. But the same offer, but at the wrong time.
I think that's it. I think it's, you've got to understand your audience. I think that there's a reason why selling to existing customers is easier to new ones, because they've already purchased from you once. You already know what they like, what they don't like. You know what's going to, I suppose, trigger with them mentally. So we've all got our favourite drinks, our favourite food, favourite music. We've all got interests which, as soon as someone mentions it, sometimes the decision's already made for you. So I've got my favourite drink at a pub. If someone wants to offer me a Jack Daniels and Diet Coke for it being free next time I come in, or in the next hour, I'd drop everything and I'd go. I just want to touch upon that as well, because just because you push out an offer doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it at a loss either.
No, it's got to, if it's the right offer. I mean, I suppose the other thing, of course, is with data collection and personalization, then it's much easier to offer people what they want, and in fact, be able to predict what they want before they know they want it. And that's the really clever marketer, because the most frustrating thing is when you've bought a black top and somebody offers you more offers on black tops. Or maybe I want a red scarf, or maybe I want a pink necklace, or, maybe I want something else. So don't, just because you think, oh, she's bought a black top, she obviously will want more. I might, but I probably want something else as well that I might have not even thought about. I mean, people say that when you go clothes shopping as a woman, you should take somebody different with you who will say, why don't you try this? Because you say, oh, no, that's not really me. No, go and try it and see what it looks like. And often something you would have walked past as thing, that's not my thing, looks amazing.
So just on that example then, Vivian, so let's say you've come into my shop, you've got a black jumper, you're a new customer. What offer would I push to you to get you to come back? Obviously, you don't want another black jumper.
No.
So what would tempt you? Would a discount on, say, an orange jumper, for example, or a skirt, bring you back through the door?
Or I think what might be an interesting offer is if you said to me, do you buy black jumpers often? Oh, God, my wardrobe's stuffed full of black clothes. Is there another colour? well, actually, you say there are plenty. I tell you what, how would you like me to spend an hour with you, being your personal sort of stylist, where I could actually show you some interesting things that might give you a bit of variety, especially as we're coming into spring and summer. And we could also organise a free makeup trial. How could I say no? And I've done that. I've been in a shop where somebody said, what are you looking for? I said, oh, I need a dress, but it's got to be this and that and the other. So she said, look, take this one with you, try that on, and I'll bring you something else. And she just kept bringing me clothes. I said, oh, no, that's too short. That's too long. She said, oh, try this instead. Oh, and have this scarf as well. That'll look lovely with it. And so what happened? I ended up buying a dress and the scarf.
And that's it. And I think sometimes an offer could be something free. So if you go back to the restaurant example, let's say if you come in the next hour, we'll give you a free piece of cake. Now, when you go in, there's a good chance you're going to be buying a drink with that and maybe something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think you've got to look at the cross-sell opportunities as well. So I think an irresistible offer doesn't need to be, it can be done at a loss if you've got the opportunity to cross-sell. Not every business has the opportunity to cross-sell. But at the same time, though, it's, as you alluded to, Vivian, you can do it to reward customers as well. I think one of the reasons Happy Offer was formed was if you take the Groupon model, Groupon's an amazing service. They've got a huge list of followers, which are great. I think one of the downsides for Groupon as a business owner is that it's not necessarily real time, so you can't be reactive. So if you're quiet this afternoon unexpectedly, you're expected to heavily discount that for up to 50% before, and then another 50% before you make any money. So you're looking at 25% of the original price, and then you need to sell a certain amount. And finally, the people that buy off Groupon are loyal to Groupon, not necessarily your business.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's quite interesting that, 'cause look at my roots; they need doing. And I've been trying to get a hairdresser to come to my house because I'm such a busy bee. I haven't got time to go off to a salon, and it's taken days for her to respond to me. Now, if she'd rung me this afternoon and said, you know what, I've got a free slot, I'd have chopped her arm off, because I desperately need that doing. And people don't realise that. So, for example, if I was a hairdresser and it's a Tuesday afternoon and I look at my bookings, I think, bloody hell, I've got nothing until 6:30 this evening, then I would push out an offer to say, anyone can get down to the salon in half an hour, or before 3:00, we'll offer you a whatever, free conditioner, blow dry, haircut, whatever you want, alongside dyeing my hair as well. We'll dye your hair and we'll blow dry it for nothing.
I think that's it. I think to get even clever with that, if you make a note of when your customers have last come through your door. So I get my haircut once every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's say on the 5th week I haven't come back in for whatever reason, busy. But given that obviously I come in religiously every 4 weeks, you're quiet, you know who I am, you can then send out a personalised offer to that individual, because it's not just a targeted offer towards your audience, it's a targeted offer towards that individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get my haircut religiously because at the 4 week mark, I'll typically go in probably either Thursday or Friday or Saturday morning. If I haven't come in for whatever reason, because if it's raining, I probably won't go out. But if I knew I'd get 50% off, for example, for my next haircut.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think offers are a great way to reward loyalty.
Yeah.
Well.
And I think also, when you have a kind of a loyalty card, I suppose my biggest gripe is that I have to buy 10 coffees to get a free one. And I think that's too many. I really think that you should be a bit more generous than that. Because at the end of the day, how much is a coffee going to actually cost somebody, for example? But it would actually mean a lot to me.
I think that's it, but that's the gamification of it. When people know that they've got, it's same with receiving stamp cards with 2 stamps already stamped off for you.
Yeah.
So
that really gets you going. So
I think you're right, Vivian, because at the end of the day, with loyalty, you want to know something's achievable. It depends on the sector. It also depends how often you go. If you go to the coffee shop across the road 2 or 3 times a day, you'll hit 10 in no time.
Yeah.
But the same with those stamp cards, though, is that once you've had 10, you'll probably get given a new card.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, a relationship starts again.
Yeah.
One thing we are looking to do with Happy Offer later down the line is that reward or building functionality where you can reward customers for the life they've been with you.
Yeah.
So, for example, if over 12 months, so and so's bought you, or I don't know, purchased, could be a few hundred cups of coffee, for example, you'd probably reward them a lot more than say someone who's just come in 2 or 3 times.
Well, I would say that it would even be worth that if somebody had to collect 10 and they collected 6, you just say it's your lucky day because today is the day you get your free coffee. And then you could let them go and collect the other 4 and then get another free coffee. But it just pushes people along a bit. And I think really bearing in mind what it would cost you to offer that kind of service and care and interest basically in the people that are choosing to buy from you. And I think that's half the problem, because we know with social media especially, the customer journey doesn't end when somebody's bought it. I bought whatever you want. It's what they go on and say, and maybe they go and look you up on Facebook and say, do you know, I enjoyed that so much, I'm going to follow them on Facebook to see what they're doing. Or maybe, you know, hey, you must go down to Hiteshi's coffee shop because he sells the most amazing hot chocolate with marshmallows, or whatever it happens to be. We know that in comparison sites and in reviews and all those things, it's that little attention to detail that actually makes your offer in its broadest sense, i.e. what you sell, as the most irresistible part of the whole deal, I think. And I think what you've developed with Happy Offer allows people to be very granular, personalized, targeted about what they're doing. And most of us need reminders. We have incredibly busy lives. And if you're a podiatrist or chiropodist, you know, people don't go to see you until they've got a pain in their foot, or, you know, they've got a problem. So, you know, why not say complimentary or beauty treatment for your feet, as you know, you're just approaching sandal wearing time. And I look at my feet and I think, oh God, yeah. And I say, yeah, that'd be great. Could book me in for 3:00 on Thursday.
I think just a couple of points to add on that. I think pushing out any old offer isn't just gonna cut it. So just because you've got a product and you're gonna discount it 75%, for example, which is quite a lot. If the offer of what you're offering, so let's say, I don't know, it's say £5 offer, £100 spend. Mm-hmm. Would you jump out of bed for that? Probably not. No. So it's got to be relevant, timely, but also it could be a good opportunity to use offers for, let's say you've got a high ticket value item which you've been trying to sell to your existing database of customers for a while, and you know there's people have shown an interest in it. When it comes to purchasing it, they just don't want to do it. But if you had a limited offer or something which is just going to push them over the edge, an offer with sort of scarcity, even social proof, will help them get over the edge. So it's a great way to venture into new markets as well. But I think you've got to do that, especially your business. I think going back to what you're saying, Vivian, you've got to be proactive. Mm-hmm. A lot of business owners will know when they're typically quiet, but I hope they do, when the opportunities are, rather than, and I think with traditional approaches such as social media, where you blanket push it out and hope that someone catches on. Unless you're a big brand, it's easy to do. As a small brand, it's very hard to blast an offer on Twitter, where it's easy to do that. But for someone to catch up onto it, it's going to be very unlikely. And that's something I've found as well. It's always to go on Twitter now. I think there's so many different tweets there every second. You're lost in all the noise. So I think it comes back down to providing that personalized experience when you do. And I think if you're not sure what an irresistible offer looks like, ask your customers.
Mind you, what I would say is what people say they want and what they really want can be two different things. The airlines occasionally increase the leg room, but then they realise that people don't want to pay more for leg room. They're just not prepared to pay for it. Currys Dixon's car phone warehouse in the UK have now joined forces to become the superstore. And the one thing they said was, we realise that we have to match the prices on the internet. That's as simple as that. And also that people are not prepared to pay for advice. And it's as simple as that. You know, if I came into your shop and said, I don't know which kind of HD television to buy, and you said, well, that will cost you £10 for me to go through it all, I go, oh, forget it, mate. I'm going to go off and get that information on the internet. So therefore you have to say, yes, of course, let me show you all the offers. And, you know, eventually you might start showing me the more expensive offers, so that in the end I think, oh God, well, I'm only going to buy one once every few years, so I might as well go for the best. And then you might make that ultimate sale. But, you know, it's the kind of quality of service and care and compassion and interest and knowledge that will make that offer more irresistible, I think.
I mean, right.
So, I mean, sorry.
It depends on the business you're in. If you're say a coffee shop, you're not going to go in and look around and then maybe come out unless they don't have what you're after, obviously. But if you're buying something like a TV or any digital related service, I think when you are searching online, you're in information gathering mode, you're not necessarily in buying mode.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes people will happily go around, browse around for more information, whether you can give away a free ebook as an offer or a free webinar series, and then you educate and you provide value as much as you can before you pivot to the sale and then an offer, because you've given time, you've been attentive, you've listened, rather than saying, we know you want this, buy this now, we'll give you 50% off, even though the discount will be quite good. It isn't necessarily relevant to that particular visitor, if you like, at that moment in time.
I think the thing is that we like to buy, but we don't like to be sold to. So, you know, giving that invitation to buy. So if you like, the right audience, the right promise and the right time, and those things in effect equate to an offer that you can't refuse, really.
So if you was to push an offer out in terms of your service, I know you're a writer by trade, and let's say you are offering blog posts. I know time is money, especially when you're service related. What would you class as an irresistible offer in your line of work?
Well, what's interesting is I've offered to write free blog posts for people. But what's interesting is people don't value free. So the way I get work, funnily enough, is showing what I know. And so actually making sure that I become like a thought leader and an influencer, and demonstrating how much value I can add to your business, for argument's sake, is much more dramatic than me saying, okay, Hitesh, I'll write you, a free blog and you can test me out. People are not interested. Well, in my experience anyway.
What if it's, I'm aware of your hourly rate and I think it's very competitive. What if it was an introductory offer to say 50% off for your first blog post? Because you've been writing my content for years. And the price you charge now has gone up because I know how good you are. But the point I'm trying to make with that is you build a relationship. I know the quality of the service I'm going to receive and the work. I know the outputs, and I know what that means to my business. I could go and get cheaper copywriters, cheaper services, or people browse online, Fiverr, you name it, all day long. But the output isn't going to be anywhere near as good as to someone who understands who you are, what you do, the style of the way you write, if you like, the style. But then it all comes down to a personalized service, which is why selling to existing customers is a lot easier to do, especially with a crafted offer, because I think it all depends on how people are receptive to it as well. I think you've got to find the right balance. I think it's down to testing. I think just because you push one offer out, it may work for some, it may not work all the time, but you've got to be in a position to test and try it, to listen.
I think you've got to also think about what the main objections are. I mean, you're looking at a benefit, you're looking at a primary and a secondary benefit, and then you're looking at the main objections to whatever offer you're pushing out and how you can actually counter those. And also thinking about, why should anyone buy whatever your offer is now? And what can you add to it to make it more compelling?
Do you think with the offer, though, especially when you have the scarcity mix, especially if it's very low value. People think, well, for 20 quid, I'll give it a punt.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, look, we are down to our last 3 minutes, amazingly. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions or if anything that they would like to know, having joined and listened to this conversation. If we can argue, oh, my phone's ringing now. There you go. If anyone's got any questions at all, it'd be interesting to know actually what niche market people are in. And I'm just going to bugger off and just sort this phone out. So Hitesh, I'll leave it with you. Hang on.
Just to add to that, if you want to leave your comments on what niche you're in, any questions you have, or if you need some ideas on what makes an irresistible offer, you let us know. Thanks for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.